Have you ever heard someone say, well, Jesus was hanging out with sinners? I just came across a verse that changed my perspective on this particular idea. I was just reading my scriptures for the day and I had to underline this verse because, again, it gave way more insight into the story of Jesus eating with sinners. Come read the Bible with me. Let's just read this one verse together. And yeah, I just had to share this with you. So it comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 9, and it's verse 10. And it reads, "And it came to pass, as Jesus sat at meat in the house, behold, many publicans and sinners came and sat down with him and his disciples." Reading this verse completely changed the thought process that I had when I constantly hear this idea, or even said this myself, like, well, Jesus was hanging out with sinners, or he was eating with sinners, and things like that. But when you actually read the Bible, it shows that Jesus and his disciples, they were eating and sinners came to them. That completely changes the perspective that I had on this idea that Jesus was just hanging out with sinners. And I think sometimes many Christians, or I don't even identify as a Christian anymore, I'm just a disciple of Christ. But sometimes we will give the excuse to be in places or be in environments that God has called us to come out of because there's this notion that Jesus was hanging out with sinners. No, Jesus was constantly about his father's business, and he, just being who he was, crowds came to him. He's not out there at the club popping bottles. He's not doing in the trap house. Like, that doesn't make sense, right? He is just doing his father's business, and the sinners are coming to him. Now, what he's not doing is saying, like, if you continue to read this story, what the Pharisees wanted him to do was to shoo them away. Like, oh, I'm holy, I'm Christ, I'm the Messiah, you can't be near me because you're unholy thing. So that's not what he was doing. If anyone came to him, he definitely healed them, he welcomed them, but he is not going out of his way to be in places where he, as being holy, really shouldn't be. So it completely changed my idea on this particular thought process, and I wanted to share it because hopefully it gives light to other people, right? God has still called us to come out of places where we shouldn't associate with. However, we are not to reject people who want to know the word of God and who wants to get closer to God, and they may be able to do that through you. So God bless you and God keep you until I see you again. Bye.